Let's welcome in our guest. He is the president of the Berkeley County Commission, Eddie Gochenour. Eddie, good morning to you.
Good morning, sir.
He is the vice president, Mr. Steve Catlett. Good to see you, sir.
Good morning, gentlemen. Good to be with you.
Wonderful to have you both here with us. Today's been a couple of weeks. We're due to catch up a little bit, and I know you guys have had some meetings recently. I guess the governor was in town, Friday, was it?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah. What were the purposes of those meetings, Eddie?
Well, actually, it was through his leadership that he called for an economic development summit, basically, to include all three of the counties here in the Panhandle. He wanted one project that we could all benefit from. So Berkeley County Development Authority had been working on the sports complex for nearly a year, doing their due diligence and trying to pull this project together. And it's a big project. So we met with the other two counties, and Jefferson County's desire was to be able to release and relax some of the rules and regulations on like distilleries and wineries and stuff of that nature. Morgan County, they need some site-ready projects to be able to bring some industry in. So, part of the project was, to be able to pitch this huge sports complex, but in the same breath, for us to share the abilities for agritourism or tourism as a whole to the other two counties, to where they're also getting some of the action. And when we can't do everything at one facility, then we bleed over into like Jefferson, for example, for other projects. So it was good. Like I say, I give the governor all the credit on and being able to pull everybody together and have a real good discussion.
Do you need legislation passed to pull this off, or is this just simply a matter of getting the right economic circumstances together?
I think that we will need legislation assistance on this because, according to the feasibility study that we've had done, it will take the sales tax TIF to be able to accomplish this in a more fiscal way. So that does require legislative approval.
Eddie, I've heard a lot about the sports complex in Jefferson County. This is the first I've heard in Berkeley County. Is there any cooperation, any coordination between these two ideas?
No, sir. They were totally separate in their inception. Berkeley County had been doing theirs. They had already hired a company to come in and do a feasibility study on the sports complex. And then probably 6 months down the road, maybe somewhere in that neighborhood, maybe 6 months down the road, Jefferson announced that they were doing this. And I'm like, uh-oh. So Jennifer reached out to Jefferson County right away and said, hey, just let's let you know, we're already in this process. And they said, that's fine. You all do what you do. We're going to do what we do. So, we respect that. But I don't think that the area can support two of those.
I agree.
So now, in Berkeley, Jennifer, that's Jennifer Smith?
Yes,
right?
Yes.
Now, in Berkeley County, where would the sports complex be located?
Yeah, right there at Exit 8. The Development Authority owns 256 acres there, and it's truly it's a perfect place for it. The roads are set up for it. We do need to get infrastructure underneath the interstate to help support it as far as water and sewer, but it's really a great location.
But it's all dependent upon a 1% sales tax for it to be viable.
No, sir. It's dependent upon the sales tax TIF.
What's the difference?
The difference is the sales tax that's generated on that project would stay at that project.
I see.
Instead of going to the state.
6 cents that the state collects would stay here.
All 6 cents?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So who else can you partner with outside of the governor? Any delegates or state senators that?
Well, we haven't brought them in yet, quite honestly.
Okay.
Because I think that there's also opportunity for private investment.
Okay.
On this project, when you talk about construction of these facilities, I think there's opportunity there. So, Thrasher has a plan for the entire 256 acres, which includes, commercial, restaurants, hotels, even perhaps a box store of some type. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of opportunity for tax generation here to be able to make this successful.
Eddie, going back to this sales tax TIF, that would be just a diversion of the sales tax from the county or the state as a whole to go to the sports complex. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
So no additional sales tax. It's just be taking that 6% within a certain area that be developed devoted to the sports complex.
Yes, sir. It would stay in the TIF.
Okay. Now the area, the catchment area for that 1%, would that be all of Berkeley County? That would be diverted to the sports complex, or I'm having trouble understanding.
You're confusing the 1% sales tax with the 6% TIF tax.
Yeah, the 1% sales tax is not a part of this.
Okay, so the 6% is part.
That's a normal sales tax that you pay every day.
That's right. That everybody pays.
Yes, sir. And that would be collected if you bought something in there in that project project
area.
That 6% would stay with that project.
Okay, but if you bought something and say in Marlow, for example, that 6% would not go to the sports complex.
That's correct. It would go to Charleston like it does today.
But anything that's bought within that sports complex area, that would stay local.
That's correct.
Okay, good.
Yes, sir.
So if you had concession stands in there and they were selling food, 6% on top of that would be what would go into that area.
Yeah, and there's a lot of benefit.
But you
there.
need legislation for that to pass, though, Eddie?
We do. Yeah, the legislature has to approve the sales tax TIF.
Is this unique, Eddie? Are there other sales tax TIFs in the state?
There are up around Wheeling. There's one at Morgantown. There's one Bridgeport.
So you not have to reinvent the wheel. Just
no.
have to just repeat what's or duplicate what's happening now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And why would the state be willing to divert that 6% sales tax to the local area as opposed to taking it in Charleston?
Well, the big reason is because it would be all new growth, so you're not stealing from anything they're already receiving. So it'd be great. But think about all the impact it would be by bringing all those people from out of state into West Virginia, into the Panhandle, and all the other things they do while they stay here, eat in our restaurants, stay in our lodging, and put a lot more money back into the economy here and the state as well. So.
I'm sorry, was the governor receptive to this suggestion?
I think he was. Yeah. He was here to listen, and I think he's. As a matter of fact, I was told yesterday he's invited Jennifer back down for another meeting, so that's encouraging. That's very encouraging.
The phase one was a $75 million cost to do the indoor part of this sportsplex. And, of course, you have to have a source of revenue to pay off the bonds to build it. And this would provide that revenue to do that so that it wouldn't be a burden on local government to finance it. We couldn't afford to finance it. So
is the sportsplex in Charleston that Ben Salengo worked on, the county commission president, does that also benefit from a sales tax TIF? Do you know?
I'm not sure.
I don't think that it does. I don't think that it does, but don't hold me to that.
Are you guys worried about direct competition with Jefferson in theirs?
Well, I mean, I do believe that this region can only support one facility of that nature, and I think that those different companies can prove that. But no, we're so far ahead of them in the process. Number one, we already have our land. I'm not sure that Jefferson has their land.
You guys are a little bit more business friendly.
Well, we are, but I mean, they're trying.
Yeah.
The big trump card here is 81, of course, and access to 70, 95, and all those.
And the airport.
Yeah. And the airport.
Yeah, and also the CVB, it will be a benefit of this as well. With the hotel motel tax that comes in, so then that translates, at least with Berkeley County, then that means our Parks and Rec will get additional revenues because we share those equally with the CVB.
How many acres are you talking about in this total complex?
There's 256 acres total.
All that developed for the sports complex?
No, I think there's a total of 17 acres. With the building itself and the parking, I think it was 11 acres, and then there's additional acres for some outside fields.
And the plans that they developed, what types of fields were they talking about installing, and how many?
I can almost see in my head.
All multiple fields with artificial turf and lighting, so that
Multi-purpose.
you can do that now and paint lines to satisfy any sport. So
Yeah.
multiple sports would be available.
Yeah, 4, 5, 6 years ago, there was some talk of trying to get a minor league baseball team here competing with Hagerstown. I think probably that barn, the horse is out of the barn. They've already built a new one in Hagerstown.
Yeah.
But with the sports complex you're talking about, accommodate something of that nature, that scale?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
No, and you know, Hagerstown has a beautiful stadium.
Yeah, I knew we could not compete. That's too late. We're
Yeah.
about 10 years too late in
Right.
trying to snag.
Yeah, and they had a lot of private investors in on that project too.
And Frederick just opened up theirs again. What is it, the Keys?
Yeah.
Aren't they back?
Yeah, they still had two teams playing at Harry Grove Stadium, but now they've actually are going to have an affiliated team back at Harry Grove Stadium, and there's all kind of construction going on around that stadium. What used to be the parking lot along I-70, now there's building that's going on in association with that stadium. I'm not sure what the new project is, but they're putting a lot of space there.
But let's go back to a definition a little bit. We all have in our own mind what a sports complex might look like. We've heard Pasha be on the show 2 or 3 times explaining his definition. In your view, what are we talking about with a sports complex?
Well, it's a sports complex / event center, number one. So the design that we're working off of has 8 basketball courts, and it also has a recreational area off to the side. It's got food vendor areas. It has a rental space. There may be some private space available for future rental, but in addition to that is a 3,000 to 4,000 seat event center where you could bring in concerts. You could do
Trade shows.
You could do trade shows. You could do your big meetings of that nature. So it's
one of the things
a
she
wonderful
kept bringing up
facility.
was about P&G. They have 3,000 employees, and they have a place where they don't have a place in Berkeley County where they can meet all their employees.
You have to go to
together,
Winchester.
and they could do that.
And this could also be used for like I don't know, like a political convention
anything, or
too.
whatever.
Okay.
Anything. Sky's the limit. Yeah.
So what's the total cost on this as you envision it?
It's a $75 million project.
How do you pay for that?
Sales tax TIF.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you have to front the money at some point, don't you? You have to bond it out and then pay for it with the sales tax TIF?
Yeah, the Development Authority would be able to do that. And then there's, like I say, I think that there's opportunity for some outside funds to come in and assist. So, but being in the TIF district can help with the infrastructure, and then the sales tax would help accommodate the debt.
So we've had you folks on the show many times. Bill said this is the first we're hearing about this. Was this something you were kind of keeping under wraps until something happened?
Yeah, we had to. I mean, because the study was not complete. We didn't even know whether it could work or not. So until you get that information, and Jennifer Smith and PJ Orsini, who serves as the chair of the business development, along with Brad Close, Abe Ashton, they've all worked very, very close on this project. And so just, as things come up, and I give these guys a lot of credit because they're very wide-eyed with it, and they're looking at it as a good thing, but it has to be able to financially make sense. Because if it doesn't, then we're not going to do it. And, so I give them a lot of credit for getting the project to this point. And it's all about dollars and cents at the end of the day. Yes, we want to bring revenue here. We want to bring opportunity here. But at the same time, it's got to be fiscally responsible.
And you're having Brad Close and PJ on it are 2 great members to have part of that.
They
team.
are. They work very hard for the Development Authority, and they're smart. They're like PJ. PJ is kind of a big thinker guy. And then Brad kind of brings everybody back to the middle with the fiscal responsibility.
Being a CPA.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So you've got those talents to bring to the table and put on the table what works. What it doesn't. If it doesn't work, take it off.
When we had Ben Salengo on the program regarding the sportsplex in the Kanawha area, he said that the hotel rooms are full and up to an hour away from Charleston almost every weekend, because of the activity generated through their sports complex.
Yeah, and see that, and that's really where we want to be able to help Jefferson, for example, that when we advertise for different tournaments and stuff, that we're advertising to go to Jefferson County, go to Harpers Ferry, go to Charlestown races, enjoy go to the breweries, go to the wineries,
Go to Berkeley Springs
go
in
in this
Morgan
whole
County,
region. Yeah,
Capon,
go
whatever.
and enjoy it.
So it's a good partnership. It's not really a rivalry with Jefferson.
it's
It's
not.
more
No.
like
But-
a.
worked very well.
but it's going to be perceived as a rivalry. Pasha, especially, I think, probably was unhappy to hear about this the other day, just because he's devoted so much time and effort and energy in promoting the one in Jefferson County.
But Pasha has been aware of this for 6 months.
Okay.
It's nothing new. He knew this was coming. They've all been told.
And there's no guarantee Jefferson will get this off the ground. There's some dissension just amongst their own folks in Jefferson
It
County.
would be great if Jefferson could. It's just it's that whole prevailing attitude. Whenever because Pasha's been fighting against it too. Like he keeps hitting. There's just this anti kind of business. They're like allergic in Jefferson to new ideas. It's frustrating.
Yeah, and it's not 100% done here. We've still got a lot of work to do yet.
What is your time frame, Eddie?
I don't know that.
Years?
Well,
Depends on the state.
Let's,
If they
yeah,
approve the
that's
stiff-
a big
stiff.
part of it. But it will also take the water district 2 years to get water there. So yes, yeah.
So you say you've not really talked to our local legislators, but I assume that will be front and center in the next few weeks, few months prior to session.
Yeah. It's. I mean, now that it's public. It wasn't made public until Friday, so there really hasn't been an opportunity to reach out and get everybody to the table once again to say, look, here's what we were trying to do, and they put the company that we've hired, they bring all the financial information to the table as well. So, to do the pro forma on it to make sure that it's feasibly, financially feasible to do it.
What company is that, Eddie?
Yeah, I figured you were going to ask me that, sir.
Well, you opened the door.
I did. I can't remember. I can't remember the name of them.
Sorry.
SFB, something like a sports facility, whatever.
Is
But let me say this about them: they do run 93 type facilities like this around the country.
So they have
they
experience.
have a proven track record. So they come in and actually design it, but also operate facilities as well. In
Okay.
fact, the bridge in Bridgeport, they got involved with that, and then after a year or so, Bridgeport took it over themselves, the operation. But they can continue to operate if you choose to allow them to do that, have them do that.
well, if you had a sportsplex, is that something ultimately Parks and Rec runs, or is this completely separate from Parks and Rec?
Separate.
It's totally separate. Yeah, this is a sports industry. It's now Parks and Rec can enjoy a lot of the stuff there, but this is a business opportunity with the sports.
Are there any backup plans? So let's say this doesn't get off the ground, things fall through, God forbid, and everything else. Is there a backup to bring more business and revenue into Berkeley County that wouldn't involve like sports flex?
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, that's what the Development Authority does
That's
all
what
the
they do.
time.
They do
And
that.
they're full time on it. They're very successful.
Yeah, they're busy every day.
Yeah.
Okay.
With either answering questions of somebody they just spoke to this past week. Jennifer has. We meet monthly, but she'll have one or two new people weekly.
Okay.
At least.
So it's not like an eggs in one basket type
Oh,
thing. It's
no.
like there's
No,
a bunch of different projects.
Eddie, you said it would not be under the purview of the county commission. Would the county commission have any involvement at all other than getting it off the ground?
Well, we do have involvement as far as the TIF is concerned. We have to approve those expenditures and stuff. But from the financial portion, the county would not be borrowing the money
But
for it.
as far as running it, once it's up and running, it would not be under Parks and Rec,
No, sir.
but not under the county commission at all.
No, we would hire the company to manage it, and
But you'd hire the company, so the county commission would still be involved.
somewhat. But I think the Development Authority would probably have more involvement
Okay.
in that. But having them operate 93 or 94 of these other projects or complexes, they can build another tournament real easy with another new facility. So they have those abilities to bring these people here, and they're very confident of that.
Talking about breaking news, this is breaking news this morning, Eddie.
Well, it is, and it's been good. I would really encourage you to bring Jennifer on. Because she's
She's been on many times with Build Up Berkeley. She never mentioned this.
Yeah, but she's been the workhorse on this, and But her and the team there that have really worked to bring it to this point.
I got a text that said, this is not from Jefferson County, by the way. This is from an individual. It said the Jefferson County Development Authority meeting addressed this yesterday, this sportsplex in Berkeley County. Basically sounded like they were throwing in the towel without committing to calling off the project. And it would make sense if you're further along. There's no reason to have a rival facility in nearby. But as we were discussing that with the Jefferson County Commission members that we've had on the program, including Pasha, it sounded to me like while the commission seemed to be very much in favor of it, there were several folks who were very concerned about traffic issues and the cost of this and not having public funds pay for it in Jefferson County. To this point, have you encountered any similar concerns in Berkeley County, Eddie or Steve?
Well, I mean, from a traffic perspective, it's probably the absolute best place in Berkeley County for this.
Jefferson didn't have that type of infrastructure.
No, at exit 8 there to interstate, and that's where the land is right there. It's on the southwest corner there as you get off the exit. It's probably the most desirable location, quite honestly, in Berkeley right now. But, you know, if we had kept quiet, if we did not tell Jefferson many months ago that we were doing this project already, I would feel bad about this. But they were told.
Sure.
And you know, Jennifer reached out very early to them, say, hey, let you know, we're already into this. And
no, you have to get going here, Eddie, right?
I do.
All right,
I have
Steve's
a park
going to
meeting.
stay.
Yeah, I have construction at the Inwood Park.
All right, very good. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you stopping by for the half hour. Steve Catlett remains with us. We'll get further into this and other items as well as we continue on the program after this.
Someone said, is Joe Ferretti manning the board?
Ooh.
Yeah,
because
that-
Joe has the mute issues on his phone on Fridays. Yeah. I'm taking the shots. I deserve them. Steve, welcome back. Thank you for being here again.
Absolutely.
So the question came during the commercial break from Mike Hornby, who owns this place and is a delegate as well. Is it a STIF or TIF that you're looking for? And you were pointing out that it would be a STIF as in sales tax, incremental financing, but the area itself is already in a TIF.
It already is. Our southern TIF, and we have the northern TIF as well. And that just benefits from the property taxes itself. Where a STIF, as we've talked the first half hour, is the 6 cents that's collected of state tax in that particular area that's approved for a STIF. It stays here and helps finance the development of this facility.
If you're just tuning in, we're talking about a potential sports complex in Berkeley County, the plans for which have already been undertaken with a study. This was prior to Jefferson County's desire to do the same, and they were notified well in advance that Berkeley County was looking into this. So, Steve, obviously with something like this, if it goes through, you need hotel room space. Are you aware of any additional hotels that are coming to this county?
That happens all the time. They keep building them here on 81. So you know, I'm sure if this happened, there'll be some actually on the site, the 256 acres. So.
Was that part of the study? Was room for that in part of the study?
There is. Also, West Virginia Medicine is planning a facility inside of this building as well. So sports medicine, which makes a lot of sense.
Sure.
And so that's going to be part of it, I understand. And but again, the whole key is to STIF because you have to have a designated source of income to be able to pay off a $75 million debt that and so that's going to be the key to it all.
In the study, how much did they estimate the revenue would generate for the STIF?
Oh, they're talking $12 million a year.
Just in sales tax revenue?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. If it were fully developed.
So also, like, Steve, would high school like basketball teams play there?
They could.
Yes. They could.
They could have. There'll be a 3,000 to 4,000 seat that you can have a center basketball court for larger games like that. The sectional regionals. I don't know if we'd ever get the state out of Charleston. Probably not. But then also the seats are retractable so that when you want to open space for a trade show or for a banquet of 2,000 people, you can set it up and have that there. So that's the key to it.
That's another magic word, trade show. We do not have a good facility for
yeah.
trade shows right now.
Right.
Now we're coming to the interesting part of getting the legislative, getting the approval for this sales tax TIF. The governor, I think, is, I've been told, is on record of not endorsing or encouraging any more STIFs. Is that right? Have you heard that?
I've heard that possibly,
But
you
other
know,
parts of the state do have them, so
Yeah.
we could use that as leverage.
Yeah, and I think he's going to give it serious consideration.
Good.
I mean, it was great to have him here in Martinsburg Friday, and we sat there for 2.5 hours, and it was just an honest, open discussion. And then at the end, he went around the room and asked every individual person, "Do you have anything else to say?" And he listened, and we need more of that. You know, we hope we have more of that, and so it's good to have him here. You know, on Monday in the same room, in multipurpose room, we had a County Commission Association Region 2 meeting with the 8 counties on the east side of West Virginia. And out of the 28 commissioners in those 8 counties, we had 19 of them present, and we had staff there with us. And we had a 4-hour meeting that day just about this region as a whole and issues that this County Commission Association can help us address. And, of course, you know, the 1% sales tax, the safety bill, is not a Berkeley County project. It is the #1 legislative priority of the County Commission Association across the state. So all the counties in the state endorse that as the #1 legislative project. The second legislative project that we're working on is the rollback, to try to eliminate the rollback.
Explain the rollback for everybody, Steve.
I asked.
I thought Walmart. So.
Yeah.
Rolling back prices.
And I asked in the meeting of the 8 counties, if any of you experienced it. Berkeley County has experienced 5 times in the last 10 years. Morgan and Hampshire County this year got hit by the rollback.
What is rollback?
Well, what happens is, back in 1990, they created a bill because there was a large discrepancy around the state in the appraisals of the assessors throughout the state. And some places they were only getting appraised at 20%, 30%. The state wanted everybody appraised at 60%. And so they implemented this, and over a couple years they corrected the issue. But that bill has remained in the books all this time, and it's been antiquated now for the past almost 30 years. It's not needed any longer. But what it does is it sets your growth rate. If your growth rate exceeds 101%, then you have to roll back your tax rate to get your growth back to 101. You know, a couple years ago we grew 109%, but we had to roll back 8 cents of that. Now it's actually 103 because the assessor gets 2% on top of all taxes collected, the assessor. So, but in terms of the growth, it's 101%. So you can't exceed that. So what does it do? It penalizes growth counties. So you have growth come in, and if it's all mostly residential growth, which in our case that is usually the case, you don't benefit. You have all these new people, 3,000 plus people a year that you got to provide services for, but you lose the tax base to provide those services.
Because the most you can increase is 1%.
It's 1%, and it makes it very difficult. You know, so it's antiquated, and you know, most everybody agrees. When we go to the auditors conference every year, they agree that it needs to be taken out. A lot of people don't understand it, but it really does hurt areas that are growing. McDowell County, of all places, had to roll back this year. Now, can you imagine that?
No.
We couldn't either, but it's affected, like in the last few years, 20-some counties out of the 55. But a growth county like ours that sees tremendous growth, you know, the one year it was 109, we rolled it back. It cost our budget 800 and some thousand a year. But it's not just for the year that you roll it back; it's every year after that.
Sure.
So you lose that revenue. So it's an issue, and it should be changed. And you know, you want to help us, then get rid of the rollback so we can experience the growth. And it's not you know, all we're doing is we're keeping the tax rate the same. Is all we're asking. Just keep it the same.
Yeah, Berkeley County has had this as a major area of concern for the
For a
last
long
several
time.
years,
Yeah.
talking with the legislators.
Yeah.
Do you get a sense, Steve, that there's more of a recognition among the legislators of the problem this is imposing? It's one thing, it's difficult to understand.
Right.
It's a difficult concept to explain. But are you hearing more and more sympathy toward rolling it back?
I think so.
Yeah.
And we had a lot of attention, and Senator Barrett in particular has been working hard on it for sure. And in fact, he's trying to couple it with maybe increasing the homestead exemption on our appraisals and all, right? You know, so, but he's working on it. Our county commission association works on it hard, and are trying to educate it. We have flyers that we hand out to people that explains it all and tries to, so you can understand it, and it just makes a lot of sense. Why should we grow and be penalized for growing when the state is sitting there wanting people to move into our state? And, you know, it's the same thing with the road situation here recently. We were told there's very little money for road projects, but there is some. But if you want it, we need some matching funds for it to help.
Yeah, since when does the county have to provide
Well, but
highway funds?
where are we going to get matching funds? We don't have any, right? So our argument, and what I said to the governor on Friday was, our growth, 3,000 plus residents a year, our economic growth as well on top of that, in itself should justify the investment of road projects here in Berkeley County, because it's a guarantee return on your money if you do those things.
So what do you think is the obviously could be, you know, just regular politics, but what do you think is the hesitation, especially if, you know, under the previous administration, you know, they touted surpluses, there's plenty of money in the rainy day fund, all these things. So what's the...
If I knew that answer and could get it changed, I would be a smart guy, but
Yeah.
I don't know. You know,
What was the
we need help.
What was the governor's response when you started talking about roads, Steve?
Understands that we need some help. Didn't commit anything, but you know, he said this. He said, "Get that list that you have to me." We've been to Secretary Rumball's office in March and again last month in September and met with him. I will say this: he's very professional. They listen, and
being Rumball.
his secretary Rumball, and his staff was very attentive. But at the same time, they're squeezed for funding in the highway monies right now, according to them, and they're looking for some matching funds to try to do projects. And like I said, I don't have anything against Southern West Virginia and other counties throughout the state. I think it's wonderful, but they've built roads to nowhere in a sense. And here, you know, it's like the Novak Lane, for instance, by the airport. If they would connect that over to the 9 bypass, then people would, instead of having to come down to exit 12 to get down there, they would use it to get off at exit 8, and the people coming from east over to 81 would use it and not go to exit 12. So
nobody wants to be on exit 12.
Look what it does for the residents there, but then also that whole bypass that they would build it would become industrial and economic growth bypass. That's what it would enhance all that as
Because
well.
it connects.
So
Steve, maybe you can explain this to me. I've had others try, and I can understand it. With the Justice Administration, we had the Roads for Prosperity, and there was a lot of money that available through bonds. Now we find a couple months down the line, there are no money for roads. What made the shift between such a short period of time?
It was explained to us that there was $2.8 billion in the bonds for roads, and basically what they're saying is it's all they have the problem of paying off those bonds, but there's no money left to do anything with. So
the roads that we thought we were going to get through Roads for Prosperity, if the roads are not already completed or in the process of being completed, there are not going to be any new roads, or not very many new roads.
There's very little funding for that.
Yeah.
And
What about federal partners, though? What about, you know, our federal...
That's where we get our money anyway.
That's where most of it comes from. And, you know, I serve on the MPO with Commissioner Hardy for this region. We're tied in with Washington County, Maryland, and we approve all federal highway monies for this area. And, you know, we've been begging for help the 3 years I've been on there, and it's just we haven't been fortunate enough to get any help.
Well, let me back up.
I mean,
on
look
this.
at 9 West. I mean,
Yeah.
look at that issue.
Yeah.
Look at 901 now. I can go on exit 12. They did make some improvements on exit 12, and it has helped, but it's still a nightmare to use it. You know.
But, yeah, we have a lot of needs.
We
But
do.
from the federal government, West Virginia has gotten a lot more than they've ever put in, and a lot more than most of the other states have gotten. So we have been the recipient of a large portion of the federal dollars for highways.
What is it, in the top 5 of federal relief, I believe, Bill, or something like that? West Virginia?
I don't. I'm thinking about strictly roads now,
Okay.
Mike, and I don't really know about roads. I do know though that we're in the top echelon for.
Well,
for
Steve,
roads.
what happened to remember there was the big press conference, what was it, a year or two ago? Craig Blair was there, and they were going to talk about Route 9 and the traffic circles. Is
at
that
the DMV?
yeah?
And
that
Governor
still
Justin
happening
was
or not?
there, and Jimmy Riston was there, who was the Secretary of Transportation at that time, and Craig Blair. Here's what's happening that's moving forward from that on Route 9 West. In 2027, there's going to be a roundabout built at Ridge Road and Route 9 West, where Hedgesville High School is. Okay. In 28, there's going to be a roundabout built at Rudders on Harlan Springs Road and Route 9. They're still under study for a situation there in Hedgesville, right at the foot of Hedgesville, where you turn on the schoolhouse road to go to the elementary school or the middle school. We're in opposition to a roundabout there because it would take out a local business and several residents. But they are going to hopefully address that at some point. They haven't made a decision on how they're going to address that. Other than that, the Route 9 bypass thing was on the books for 40-some years now, and there's 6 alternates to how you do that to get from Martinsburg to Berkeley Springs, like they did from Martinsburg to Ranson. And we're not asking for the whole $3 billion to do that all the way to Berkeley. We just need to fix 4 miles from Martinsburg to Hedgesville. That's what needs attention. And I think there still needs to be an alternate route other than 9.
And not going through Hedgesville. That's a real bottleneck.
I think there needs to be a bypass around Hedgesville, and I have proposed that time and time again. You don't have to take a single house down. You're coming west. If you're going west and you're going to 901 to go over to 81 North in Spring Mills area, you would use it. On the way home in the evenings, you would use it, and you would completely bypass the town of Hedgesville. It would be a major improvement, of very little cost. And I don't have any issues with Morgan County. I love the people up there, and that they've got a $50-some million bypass that's just being completed. They have 18,000 people there, and I get it. I'm glad they're getting it, but we've got 140,000 people now, and we can't.
Morgan County.
Well, yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, it would enhance the economic development situation here in Berkeley County too. And the state's the one that's benefiting from our population growth because the rest of the state's losing population from our economic growth. We just want some of the money that we send to Charleston to come back here and be spent.
And that's what's always bothered me about the West Virginia politics. It seems like because the Eastern Panhandle, it's almost like it's an envy thing. Yeah. We're the ones growing. We're the ones getting young people in. There's professionals moving in, and we want stuff to do. We want to raise our families here. But it seems like it's definitely a cutting your nose to spite your face situation.
Take highway gas, the gasoline tax, for instance, and the state tax on gasoline is 35.4 cents a gallon. Okay, I think the federal's 18 point something, so it comes out to about 54 cents a gallon. How much of that do you think is coming from the Panhandle up here, back to the state? And
yeah.
It's a struggle, but we really need help with it. I think the most frustrating thing for our residents now is the road situation and the traffic. There's no question about that.
Sure. And many of them hold the commission responsible for the growth, Steve,
Yeah.
but you don't really have any power to stop growth.
No, and we don't at this time. And as far as roads, the state, West Virginia is only one of 4 states, I think, that the state takes care of county roads. So in a sense, if we had that pressure, it'd be, our tax rate would be double or triple what it is. Yeah. Okay, so you appreciate that, but at the same time, we just like to see more of it spent here, where the growth is occurring, than other parts of the state where the population is actually decreasing and not increasing.
Well, the counter argument has been, Steve, is in this case we have the growth, we need the roads to accommodate it. Mm-hmm. The southern part of the state is. We build the roads, the growth will come. Mm-hmm. And so they're trying to promote economic development with the roads first.
I get it, but it's not growing there.
It's not growing, and we're suffering because of it.
Yeah, and unfortunately it's not. But some good things. November 1st, we're going to have impact fees in place. Finally, we're going to be there November 1st. It goes
No
in.
more delays?
No more delays. November 1st. We're only 8 days away or something like that. 10 days away, and 9 days away, whatever. And then also, I want to compliment Frontier and the work they're doing with fiber optics through Berkeley County. It's amazing what's going through Back Creek Valley, and not only in the valley, but also on this side of the mountain. Fiber optics is a lot of people have said, man, this is great. You know, they've been waiting on it for years, and we're getting it now. I know people that had the satellite thing was $120 a month. They're now paying like $49.99 a month for high-speed fiber optics internet. They get their TV coverage through it much cheaper. People are thrilled with it. And
When, Steve, will they be moving to the east of 81?
well, they already are, actually.
they?
Yeah, they were in the town of Hedgesville last week working on it. They've been on Butler's Chapel Road. They've been in all parts of the county now doing it as well. The
East of
program
81.
that was set in place, though, with the money we provided and the state was for the rural area of Back Creek Valley. But they've been doing a tremendous amount of work on this side of the mountain as well. And,
No, I'm talking about the highway east of 81. Have there been any work done on east of 81 yet?
They have.
Okay.
They have. Yeah, they really have. So, and of course they've been bought out by Verizon again. So, but they've committed everything they said they were going to do. They've followed up on it, and they're doing a great job. So, it's a wonderful thing for this community.
What made the difference? Frontier has had a long history of over-advertising what they've done. Seems like very recently they have had their feet held to the fire and they've actually performed. I know I may be overstepping, but I know Gary Wine has been very much involved with that. Is he partly to get credit for the increased
absolutely.
performance?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gary worked with them a lot, you know, and you know, the county had to make a decision on where they needed it the most. So the rural area was the people that needed it. You know, what brought it out really and clarified it was back during COVID, and kids couldn't go to school because they didn't have internet access to.
Yep.
You know, and that really brought it to the forefront. And but that won't be an issue if it ever happens again. I can assure you.
And a lot of people
It's getting
forget
better,
also, you know, because I was a teacher during that time. A lot of you know, families live in the same house, and there was 17 people in one house, and the internet was stressed, and kids couldn't do their assignments.
Yeah, people were driving to a certain spot to get access, you know, and stuff, and all that. But that it's being resolved, and it's a wonderful thing for our county and our community. So the impact fee is going to be a wonderful thing. It's going to provide revenue for us that we've never had before for specific areas. The situation with the city now, I want to say that Parks and Rec, the capital improvements plan for the impact fee money was upgraded to include the city parks. And if there's money raised in the city, we're going to commit it so it gets spent in the city of
Committed.
Martinsburg. Yes, sir.
Committed.
We're going to make sure that happens. And
Steve, going back to fiber optics very quickly, is there a prediction of when we'll have fiber optics throughout the county, when they'll be completed?
well, we have to go to the next phase, which is this side of the mountain.
Yes.
But we think in early spring of next year, all Back Creek Valley will be done. And then the next phase, of course, is the rural areas on the east side of the mountain here. And we're going to have to enter into a new agreement with them, perhaps, and get some help from the state as well, and commit some money ourselves to get it done. But honestly, Bill, they're already working on that. They see the investment is a huge return for Frontier and Verizon. And they recognize that, because you're not only getting your internet service, but you're getting you have access to YouTube TV, and a lot of people are hooking up with that, and it's a money thing. You know,
Yeah, I realize that.
They're benefiting greatly from it. So.
I realize that, and I keep hearing east side of the mountain, but I also keep hearing east of the Highway 81.
Right.
Those folks have not seen any indication at all. Is there any projection at all when all the county gets some fiber optics?
That's phase 2 of our
okay.
plan. So is to
what
move
is
forward with that. And I would say hopefully we'll make the calendar year of next year, we'll hopefully get into an agreement with them on this side of the mountain. So.
Okay.
Steve, I have 1 minute left. If there's anything that you haven't talked about that you need to get out, this is the time to do it.
Well, like I said, I think we're working hard to try to get things done. We are pleased with the fact that the governor was in town on Friday. We hope we can continue to have meetings like that with him. and we're just going to keep working until our only motivation is to try to make Berkeley County the safest county in the state of West Virginia, to be able to handle the growth with better roads and keep our people safe. And we want this to be a great place for people to live and raise their children. And that's our objective, and we're working hard to try to make that happen, and believe me. So
Appreciate you and Eddie making time for us on the program, Steve.
always enjoy being here, Rob. Thanks for having me.
And I know Eddie was headed to a meeting for the Inwood Park.
Yeah,
That's under.
it's coming along, and it's under construction, and it's going to be a wonderful. The people in South Berkeley County are so excited about it. Just tremendous.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks, Steve.